5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country, including Volta Premier in Ho, ATL FM in Cape Coast, and Radio Max in Takrady. We are on the road at myjoyonline.com. In this edition, disqualified presidential aspirants challenge Electoral Commission's decision to kick them out of the upcoming contest as they consider all means, including legal, to seek redress.
We are aware that the EC also called that candidate and had an engagement with that candidate. So why we were never called to have such engagement is beyond us, and that is the question we should all be asking.
We'll hear from the independent candidate Marie Kofigan and also from a legal expert on the matter. Also, widow of slain Infantiman MP Ophelia Hayford files nomination. We'll get you the latest. Parliament dispatches bipartisan delegation to Brussels to investigate closure of Ghana's embassy to Belgium account with the ING Bank.
In Brussels, we know how important Brussels is, the significant geographic location. So we are attaching all the seriousness that this matter is due.
We'll hear from Chairman of Parliament Committee on Foreign Affairs. Aviation analysts warn of dire consequences as private developers put up high-rise buildings in East Legon with other buildings very close to flight navigational equipment.
They create interferences and noise, and these are picked in our transmission. So you cannot communicate effectively with pilots, and that is very dangerous.
We have more on that in sport.
We'll hear from Frank Lampard and Bruno Fernandes as Chelsea and Manchester United begin their respective UEFA Champions League campaigns tonight.
That and more in this edition of the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Let's start off from Parliament, where the House is sending a delegation to Brussels to investigate the issues surrounding the closure of Ghana's embassy to Belgium account with the ING Bank. Chairman of Parliament's Committee on Foreign Affairs, Frank Anodompre, who disclosed this to Joy News, said a delegation made up of representation from both the majority and minority sides have been dispatched to Belgium and is expected to submit a report upon its return. We'll hear from him shortly, but first here are excerpts of an investigative piece on the matter, first reported by freelance journalist Manasseh Azariawene.
Ghana's mission in Brussels has 4 accounts with the ING Bank. They are main euro account, saving, business, special collection account, and retention fund account. The embassy has up to November 12, 2020 to withdraw all its monies. In a letter to the mission, the ING Bank only stated its action is premised on Article 59 of the bank's general regulations. Ghana's ambassador to Belgium, Senator Sion Boatin, says an intervention by the embassy to get the decision reversed proved futile.
When you open an account with the bank, you sign an agreement. That article states that both parties can abrogate the agreement without justification, with no explanation. So they were triggering that article.
The embassy's relationship banker disclosed that the bank only triggers Article 59 in extreme cases. When that happens, the decision is often irrevocable. Although it did not give any reason for ordering the closure of the embassy account, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Shirley Ayokoboche, believes the bank took this decision because the European Union has blacklisted Ghana due to the country's failure to properly adhere to anti-money laundering measures.
We have been affected by this because our checks tell us that this is why the account has been closed. Most banks do not want to be bothered with that kind of spending money to do the extra check. So rather, they'll ask you to move your money.
Those are excerpts of that report put together by freelance investigative journalist Manasseh Azariawene. We're told by government also that they were investigating the issue, especially the Foreign Affairs Ministry. But we've been interacting with Parliament Foreign Affairs Committee, Frank Anodompre.
Our role as a parliamentary select committee is to play oversight over mother ministry, and hence we cannot talk to things that we don't have information on. So and we cannot base our judgment or criticisms or conclusion on information on the internet. It could just form part of it. So the committee, together with the ministry, in our wisdom, came together that we put together a team on our part to go there who have that needed background and come out with a report. It is only when we have these reports that we'll be able to understand what actually happened. And then if there are people we have to take on us in people we have to let them do what they have to do, then we'll pick on that. So in Brussels, we know how important Brussels, the significant geographic location, and in the scheme of things in Europe is a very important area, because one thing happens there and it spreads to the whole of Europe. So we are attaching all the seriousness that this matter is due.
And then a member from the majority are going there?
Yes, together with the ministry, a rep from the ministry. We should be expecting them soon with their report, and when we have the report, we'll have a basis to know what to do next.
So Mr. Anodompe also insists that the closure of the accounts did not signal any problem with Ghana's foreign policy. He adds that Ghana's reputation on the international scene is still intact.
No, there's no problem with our foreign policy. These things come out. It's not peculiar to Ghana. There are a number of nations across the world who have, one way or the other, also experienced these challenges. So it's not peculiar to us. What's important is that Ghana as a country, we've always displayed transparency, a level of professionalism in the way we deal with our foreign missions and our foreign partners and other multilateral organizations, how we have dealt with them. And that reputation is out there. Ghana is respected. That you can't take it away from us. So what we intend to do is to get to the bottom of it. And so we've tasked MPs who have that capacity in terms of financial backgrounds, who can help us unravel what thereof, so that we can have a report as soon as possible.
That's Chairman of Parliament's Committee on Foreign Affairs, Frank Anodompe, speaking earlier to Joy News' Kweku Asante. He will join us much later with what else is happening on the floor of Parliament. In the meantime, let's head into the election headquarters. And some disqualified presidential aspirants have challenged the Electoral Commission's decision to kick them out of the upcoming contest. Now, independent aspirants Kofi Kranting and Marie Kofigan, as well as Akwesia Deodike of the United Progressive Party, Kwesi Busumuru of the People's Action Party PAP, and the United Front Party's UFP Ejeni Mboating, were all kicked out of the race for varied reasons, including forgery. The UFP's Ejeni Mboating says he's going to court to challenge the EC's decision.
Because I knew such a thing can happen, because I picked the intel that I am a threat to the president. So the president is trying any means for me not to file, for me not to contest.
No, those are serious allegations.
I'm telling you, it's because of
me. You don't
me.
even have the numbers.
No.
Your party is
that is your opinion. Let me be on the ballot and you will see who I will be, who I am. The real me will be on the ballot when I contest. I will win a Kufuor hands down. I am telling you this because, you know, it's because of me that he let the EC raise the 50,000 to 100,000. That is 1 billion. I want to pay it. This morning I'm here and they are telling me about the people. They are my constituency executives. I have contacted them. They are denying what the EC is saying. So I'm taking the EC to court.
You are taking the issue to court?
Today you will hear from me. I'm taking the Electoral Commission to court. First of all, the Electoral Commission itself, the document, the register that they are using is what? It's not authentic. It's not certified. It's a provisional register, isn't it? I encounter one problem at the Upper Dinstra West when one of my executives' voter ID number is having the Upper Dinstra East document. We went to the EC office and they told me that it's because of that the register is a provisional one.
That's the UFP's Nana Ejeni Mboating saying he's going to court to challenge the EC's decision. Now, independent candidate Marie Kofigan questioned why the commission failed to call him back to address concerns they had with his nomination forms as he had done with others. He spoke to my colleague Kwesi Parker-Wilson.
To understand what they mean by same person, because you know that's a very general statement. So we've been here since 8 o'clock to try and gain some understanding of what the EC means by this sort of things. None has yet been provided. We've been asked to come back at 2 p.m. So that is the journey we are on now.
So
but
you didn't meet any of the officials, any of the EC officials?
I met some of the EC officials. That's what I'm saying to you, that we've been asked to come back at 2 p.m. For something a bit more substantive. They haven't been able to provide anything substantive. But what I want to say, however, is that we are quite surprised at the way things have gone, largely because we filed within the nomination period. The EC didn't come back to us to tell us whether they had any problems with our nominations, and we want to ask why. There was another week between that and when the EC came out with its final decisions. We are aware that some aspirants were called and told what the problems were with their forms.
These are minor problems according to the EC.
Well,
but yours was a fraudulent
case. No, but in the case of some where they are calling fraudulent, where, for example, a candidate had gotten, what is it called, endorses from 2 other parties. You know, we are aware that the EC also called that candidate and had an engagement with that.
Independent disqualified presidential aspirant Marik Kofi Ganda interacting with my colleague Kwesi Parker Wilson. You know by now that the EC says there's no room for appeal. But how effective will they be in their quest to seek a redress? That's these candidates who say they are going to court. Samson Ladia Yenene is a private legal practitioner. He's been speaking to my colleague Evans Mensah on PM Express.
These are just a handful of people who supported, who endorsed him allegedly, who are now also who have been called, who are denying that they endorsed him.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying this handful, it's possible that people can try to do damage to you, that they may have endorsed him already and then are seeking to revoke their endorsement. So it does appear that if he is intent, he could be in a hurry to see how things will pan out. But you see, in 2016, Chief Justice Wood set up special courts that were dedicated to election related disputes. As we speak now, I'm not sure we have any yet.
Well, let's turn our attention on to another independent presidential aspirant and leader of the United Ghana Movement, GUM, Kwame Asiedu-Walker. Now, he says his administration will focus on industrialization, rationalization, and jobs for the youth if he wins the 2020 polls. Now, in his first media interaction after being cleared to contest the polls yesterday, he said his administration will cut out unnecessary government expenditure and redirect the funds to invest in jobs and rebuilding of communities as he seeks to break the duopoly enjoyed by the NDC and NPP.
Must have hope. The youth must have a vision for what they could be. They've learned in the schools, they've paid their quotas, they must be rewarded. They must not be left in a state of despair, desperation, for not knowing what the achievements are going to yield for what they've learned. So yes, our focus is going to be straight industrialization, straight job creation, straight regionalization, to redevelop the regions for what they could be. That is what we stand for. We will go into details, several of our policies.
You have there the leader of GUM at a first media interaction. That's Kwame Asiedu-Walker. We'll stay a while longer in the election headquarters. This time, let's head to the central region. What you hear there singing by family of the slain MP for Infantimaneko, Kwanza Hayford, as well as supporters of the governing NPP earlier today in the constituency, as his widow, Ophelia Hayford, prepared to file her nomination at the EC's office there. As you know, the party has selected her to replace her dead husband, who was killed in a highway armed robbery. Kojo Nyako is our man on the ground. He joins us on the line. So, Kojo, bring us up to speed on what is currently happening. Hello, Richard Kojo Nyako. So it appears we are yet to reach Richard Kojo Nyako joining us shortly with update on whether she's been able to file that nomination. But he's been interacting with some residents.
Yes, this Fantima seat, I can say that it's a very hot seat. And also, it was our first time to have a candidate who is a female and at the same time, what has happened, it has touched a lot of people. So with this, I hope people of Mfantuma will consider it and then vote for her massively to continue with her husband's good works.
So I've seen politicking here is a very difficult job. I mean, looking at the situation she finds herself, the husband is yet to be buried and all of that. You think that strength is there for her to push ahead to retain the seat?
Really? That strength is still there. I mean, back there, a wife to retain the seat for us. No two ways about that. We will get even more than, even if Ekwa was around, this lady will get more votes than the demise husband. I'm telling you, because we are expecting sympathy vote and others. See, the way the situation is very bad. As I'm talking to you, I'm crying within me. But I know God Almighty will protect us and then give us the massive vote for each and every one to know that what they did was wrong.
Some residents are interacting with my colleague Richard Kojunyako, our correspondent and our man on the ground. He joins us once again. Richard, has she been able to file that nomination at the EC's office?
So it was a short while ago. She finished going through the processes to file, but it had to take about 3-kilometer walk from the party's office at the Sopor bypass to the EC's office. But everything has been sorted out now, and she's spoken for the first time ever since the husband died, and she's been assuring them that she has the capacity to retain the seat for the people, and she thanked them that because of the support they have given her ever since the husband passed, she is also going to do extremely something extraordinary to enable them to retain the seat.
I'm sure you've been seeking to find out from her whether she was forced into doing this.
Well, she says that she had the capacity and she's been helping the husband in the campaigning process, even though as a police officer, she was not so expected to do publicly partisan politics, but in the house and then controlling the affairs in the house, she was up to the task, and then she knows everything, every project that has been undertaken by the husband, and she's going to go and do extremely better than what even the husband did.
That's Richard Kojonyaku. But staying on this issue, yesterday we know that the NDC candidate was picked up for investigation after, confirming that he actually signed some checks that were found on those arrested. Do we have any updates on that?
Well, so this morning I saw him driving to the regional police headquarters again. So that suggests that yesterday he was released and then had to report today too. But today we do not have any update of what she said, the purpose for which she issued the check, and all of that. So we are waiting for an update from the police.
That's Richard Kojunyako reporting from the Central Region. We hit the campaign show now, still on the election headquarters. And we start off from the camp of the NDC, where former President John Mahama has assured the people of the Western region that all abandoned projects will be completed when he's re-elected to power. Speaking at a deba for him by the Western Regional House of Chiefs, Mr. Mahama also disclosed unemployment, especially among the youth, will be addressed.
We are concerned about the many abandoned projects which we know can improve the livelihoods of the people here. That is why we commit to completing them if we are given the opportunity to get the youth engaged in meaningful projects so that employment would be curtailed here.
Now, President of the Western Regional House of Chiefs, Tetrete Okriamwa Sechum II, asked the former president to ensure that he fulfilled the promises that he's making to them.
The situation here is really affecting development, as you said. We hope you will deal with it if elected to power. Also, we plead with you to turn on the Mansia Amenfi iron ore so we can get it operational.
Now, That's the president of the Western Regional House of Chiefs, Tetel Kuyamwa Sechum II. Still, the election headquarters, we head into the Volta region now. And we'll join our Volta regional correspondent shortly as the president takes a day tour of the Volta region. Amongst others, we know that he's supposed to commission a naval base there. We'll bring you more shortly. This is the Midday News. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM, also live on myjoyonline.com as well as on Facebook Live and all our social media platforms. Now, stop evil deeds. Keep your hands off journalists. That's the call by the president of the Ghana Association of Journalists, Roland Afilmoni, to politicians and others who have plans to attack the press as the heat of the December polls builds up. Journalists have been targets of several attacks in the past, with some of them losing their lives in the process. Now, with a recent increase in deaths of politically exposed persons, some have expressed concerns about the safety of journalists too. But Afilmoni is cautioning politicians and others with intentions of attacking journalists to discuss the thoughts.
Every media house should be considered as a security zone. The law and order community to sharpen their focus on their media houses, which are potential targets of attacks by misguided politicians and sometimes overzealous supporters. So we should not be the target. So our clarion caution to all is that spare us your evil intentions. Please keep your hands off journalists and concentrate on how best you can win votes, which will ensure your victory in the elections. An attack against one journalist is an attack against all journalists. And an attack against all journalists is an attack against our democracy. And an attack against our democracy is an attack against the very soul of this nation.
That's the DJA President Roland Afilmoni. We'll head back to the Volta region now, where the President is on a day tour of the area, and the correspondent Ivy Setoji joins us on the line. So we understand the President has arrived at the Naval Training School. What's he been saying, and bring us up to speed on what we are missing?
Well, the President arrived 5 minutes ago. The Minister for Defense, Dominic Into, addressed the gathering. The Naval Training School here in the South District, and from here he will head to Africa.
We'll try and get Ivy to reposition herself so that we can get more from what she's saying. From that trip, we can hardly hear Ivy Setoji reporting on the President's visit at the North Tong area. We're told that he's supposed to commission the Naval Training School. And as you heard Ivy in that cracky line, the President has just arrived a few minutes ago, together with the Defense Minister, Dominic Nitiwo, and the expected to commission that. We'll try again with Ivy. Ivy, you were telling us what we are missing out there.
Yeah, so I was saying that
unfortunately, the line is not our best friend just yet, but we'll bring you more on that. This is the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. It's a good time to take a quick breather. When we return, aviation analysts are warning of dire consequences as private developers put up high-rise buildings in East Legon, with others building very close to flight navigational equipment.
They create interferences and noise, and these are picked in our transmission, so you cannot communicate effectively with pilots. And that is very dangerous.
55, 78, 70. Hey, Charlie. My network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now. Vodafone Cash? But my network is... Hey, sending money on that your network, you pay. Sending money on your network to other networks, you pay. But guess what? Sending money on Vodafone Cash is free. Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is also absolutely free. No charges at all on Vodafone Cash. So tell me, what are you still doing on that your network? Massa, look sharp, then move to Vodafone Cash. Hey, make I change the SIM right now. Yes, sending money on Vodafone Cash to all other networks is now absolutely free. Send unlimited amounts of money as many times as you like for free. Just dial *110# now to send money.
The future is exciting. Ready? Fellow Ghanaians, since 2017, the NPP has put over 1.2 million young people through secondary school free because of free SHS. We are leaving no one behind. This December, remember your vote will make a difference in the life of every young person who is currently benefiting from free SHS or getting ready to go to secondary school. Let's protect our progress. Vote NPP. Vote Nana Akufo-Addo for 4 more years to do more for you.
Thanks so much for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time for sports. Huntsman Sando.
Hi, Emefa, and excitement returns tonight as the UEFA Champions League makes a return with Chelsea and Manchester United starting their respective campaigns against Sevilla and PSG. Manager Frank Lampard hopes his young squad have realized the levels required to compete in the Champions League after the encounter with Bayern Munich last season.
Well, I think it's a great platform to learn because in the Champions League you're playing against the best, and we played against the best in Bayern Munich team and the work that they've done there and the strength of their teams, and where we were a young team last year working a lot to improve. I think the Bayern Munich game was a great marker for particularly young players in the squad to realise the levels that need to be attained. I remember having that feeling myself as a younger player. Getting through the group was also difficult for us, having lost the first game last year, so we needed to show a lot of discipline and focus to get through hard matches away at Ajax and away at Lille. So I hope there's some really good lessons that the players and the team have learnt in that period.
As Chelsea boss Frank Lampard has decided to take on Sevilla tonight in the UEFA Champions League. That's your sport.
Thank you very much. Now, police in Kumasi have launched a manhunt for killers of a 36-year-old man who was robbed and shot dead at Atonsu in Kumasi. Maxwell Aweto, a resident of Ahinsane Estate, is said to have made an unknown transaction at the Prudential Bank Atonsu branch. After his stop at the bank, he decided to visit a friend at a house which was 100 meters away. Kwesi Debra has more.
Eyewitnesses said they spotted 2 men on a motorbike arriving at the house. One of the suspected robbers, sporting a black T-shirt with camouflage shorts, followed the deceased. Then, a loud gunshot sound was heard.
We
saw 2 men on a motorbike park and enter. Seconds later, we heard a gunshot. When they came out and I saw a gun hanging in his side coat, I told a friend they were criminals and the residents rushed after them, but they escaped.
The suspected assailant jumped on the waiting motorbike with a brown envelope and the 2 sped off. Mr. Aweto was found in a pool of blood with a bullet wound on his neck. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
Now, the Atonsu District Commander, DSP Owusu Mpianim, says although no arrests have yet been made, police have mounted a search for the killers. And aviation experts are warning of danger and serious consequences as private and real estate developers put up high-rise buildings close to flight approach paths at East Legon. So many others are also building very close to aviation equipment at Ashaleboche and La Wireless. At East Legon, some of the developers have cleared the green belt, which is meant to absorb the carbon emitted from vehicles on the Accra-Tema motorway. So the green belt, which was also to make it possible for an extension of the motorway, can now best be described as a concrete jungle. Subsequently, my colleague Maxwell Agbagba will bring us more on that. Mapitso, what's happening?
All right, as we know, Nigerian singer Davido met with the Nigerian Inspector General of Police over the #EndSARS protest. Let's listen to him.
Justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensations for their families. Setting up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct, psychological evaluation and retraining of all disbanded SARS officers.
This is not a joke. Nigerian youth, you guys need to wake up. You need to wake up.
During the protest, policemen deployed killed 4 more people. Enough is enough. Enough. Let our voices be heard. End police brutality.
#EndSARS now.
Thank you very much, Mapitso. At 1, we have business.
And Bank of Ghana to soon consider issuing new licenses to banks and other specialized deposit-taking institutions. We have the details plus more at 1.
And that's all in this package. For now, I am Emefa Apawu. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. After the break, what are you wearing? Change what you're wearing. Part 2, Pastor Menso Tabil with Living Word.
When you want it, just move it. When you tire for the long queue in the